We now come to the urgent question. Nigel Farage.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, the situation in America has changed, as you know. The British government went around America and said a whole load of things, such as it was legally necessary to give away the Chagos Islands, which of course wasn't true. Do not give away Diego Garcia. Capital letters from the American president. He likes capital letters in his posts. And all the other arguments have been well rehearsed. The fact that it could cost us up to 50 billion. I can tell you this from my trip to the Maldives at the weekend. There is no basis, historically, culturally, in any way, for Mauritius to have a claim on those islands. And the Maldives are upset for two reasons. One, there has been great stability in this region for decades. And what happens with this treaty, if it goes through, is you finish up with a turf war going on between India and China in the region.
Yeah. Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable member for Clacton suggests that we have gone around the American government. I have set out already in my response the extensive talks that we have had with both secretaries and indeed the President of the United States within recent months on this question. There is no question of going around the US government. The honourable member says, well, what has changed? Clearly, the view of the United States President may well have changed, but the treaty has not. I do not understand his surprise, or those who travelled with him, that when you sought over the weekend to film a video on a sensitive military site under the control of the UK, it is part of the British Indian overseas territories, as you know, and I would encourage the honourable member, and indeed every member of the public, to check British travellers.
Order. You keep saying you. I am absolutely not responsible about this filming or the involvement. Please. I'm being drawn into something I don't wish to be at this stage.
Mr. Speaker, I can only apologise for not seeking to draw you into such a flagrant incident of ignoring travel advice. The treaty is, as it was signed, it is going through both houses of Parliament. We are discussing this with our American colleagues. The fact that the honourable member sought to take a selfie video on the islands does not change any of those facts.
Immediately after this debate concluded, what angered many was not just what was said, but what was concealed. On one side was Nigel Farage, who dared to expose a series of shady points, from the questionable legal obligation story to the risk of losing strategic control at Diego Garcia. On the other side, a government that constantly evaded the issue, repeating old justifications as if it were all a misunderstanding. But the biggest question remains: why was a decision that could cost tens of billions and directly affect regional security handled in such an ambiguous way? Why weren't the people told the whole truth? And why was anyone who asked a question immediately diverted to irrelevant details, such as video recording or violations of regulations? The most frightening thing is not a flawed treaty, but the way it was passed in silence and with the public being misled. If the warnings about the risk of conflict between major powers are true, then this is no longer a typical political decision. It's an extremely dangerous gamble for the future of the entire region. And at this point, people must ask themselves, who is really lying? Who is protecting national interests? And who is secretly sacrificing them behind closed doors? If we are not vigilant, by the time the truth is revealed, it may be too late.